crashed the Scoopy. Oh God, I just crashed. 15 minutes ago, Monica and I coming to the southern bit of Bali, Uluwatu, just to find some nice beaches, yada, 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 yada. Riding along, Monica was talking about some sandals she liked, and we were in traffic, stop, start, up a hill. I was looking behind at Monica, crack. And I look in front of me, and I hit a taxi on the Scoopy, just the most awful crack. His bumper, luckily, I'll put a video up of it here, his bumper was just grazed, so none of the plastic broke, and I smashed into, luckily, the bull bar on the back. I have probably broken this, so I'll need to pay to get that repaired. Just the worst feeling. You know, the last time I crashed, I spent years as an Ocado delivery driver when I was about 34 years old, and I crashed 3 times in 1 year. So I know that crack when you're not expecting it, and it will always haunt me. I was also considering upgrading the scooter, but that is not going to happen because I can't be trusted, and why would I deserve an upgrade? I'm an experienced biker. Just the last video I was talking about tourists behaving badly, and I am now a statistic of the tourists behaving badly. I'm actually quite ashamed in myself, honestly, it's pathetic. I have to say, the taxi driver, Monica was with me. Monica's not mic'd up because we're still waiting on the wire, so apologies, but they are just some of the nicest, friendliest, most genuine people, the Balinese. I crashed, I said, I'm so sorry. He got out of the taxi, he said, no, it's fine, but he said, look, I've got no time, I need to head off and get to work. And I said, sorry, and I said, look, shall I just pay you? I said, I can give you £1 million, or however much it may be. £1 million's 55 quid. And he said, no, I can't take £1 million, that's too much. Just give me 500 or 600, which is about 25, 30 pounds. And I said, look, I can't just give you that, so I gave him 700. But for him to actually say he can't accept £55 because it won't cost that much, just lovely, lovely attitude. So I got off with probably 35, 40 pounds, which is just incredibly sweet of him to let me off, no paperwork or anything. And I will, of course, pay to get this replaced. But Scoopies are so simple and cheap, I don't think that will cost any more than £20. Let's go in for a coffee. I will recover, I will breathe and calm down, and then we'll try and take you to some lovely areas. I had a whole speech about how Uluwatu is going to be lovely, but it's all gone out the window now. Let's get a coffee. You know, the problem is the last time I crashed was with a Ocado, and I was doing the morning shift. It was about 10 a.m. I crashed. I then could not refocus my attention, and I ended up crashing into an old lady's front garden about 2 hours later. So I crashed twice in a day. So joking aside, I actually do have to be quite careful that I get my head in the game. I don't deserve this, but we've got an avocado sandwich just to tuck into. We are can't remember if I said, my mind's a bit all over the place, but we're in the Ball of Bali now, and that is connected by one dual carriageway and a thin strip of land. We're in the Uluwatu section now on the west side of that ball at the bottom of Bali. We'll have an explore around this area, and then we'll ride to the very, very southerlymost point in the entire of Bali, and that's called Malasti Beach, and it overlooks the Indian Ocean, and it should be a brilliant sunset spot. So we'll head over there afterwards. Monica's just spent the past 24 hours doing a bit of counselling because unfortunately Monica's mum Rasa had a small crash just in a car park yesterday, and I now of course have had a small crash. Monica's just spilt half her coffee over her trousers, so it hasn't been the most successful 24-hour period. We made it. We tried to go to the first beach on the west coast of the Ball of Bali. Stunning looking beach with steep cliffs going down, and we desperately wanted to get down, but we couldn't. It's turquoise water, looked amazing, but you go through this kind of higgledy-piggledy setup of different buildings, finished and half finished, asking different people, how do I get down to the beach? And then someone sends you one way and you go through a little row of shops and you can't figure out how to get down. So we left it, and then we rode here to White Rock Beach, which is the very southerlymost point in the whole of Bali. So that's the Indian Ocean there. The tide is, I think, almost as far out as it can go. So you can see you've got this secluded pool here with rocks just behind it, and then the ocean carries on, or the sea, Indian Ocean, or the ocean carries on just behind it. But Bali is just an island of contrasts. I'll go from one moment saying they're the most lovely people, which they are the most lovely people, they're amazing. But then again, you know, I went to pay for parking and I paid the parking attendant and he gave me the ticket, and I was walking away counting up the change and he gave the wrong change. So I was like, you've given me much too less change, and he looked at me and he just gave me the extra money. So it's just...
Without saying a word.
without saying anything. And Monica was actually watching it as I was confusingly counting up my money. She actually saw him looking at me nervously. He was ready basically for me to tell him, look, you've shortchanged me. It's just an island of contrasts. Beautiful sea that you're desperate to get to, but you can't because you can't figure out how to go left and right through the buildings. And then the most lovely people in the world who actually are volunteering not to pay too much, and then people who try and take your money. But we made it. I think probably Uluwatu.
This used to be our favorite beach.
It did, and it is a lovely beach. It's very, very nice. There is a bit of litter there. You pay a tourist tax for them to keep it clean. It is fairly clean, but there's a bit of litter at the entrance. But in general, it is stunning. You've got the sun setting over there. It's genuine white sand, and the sea colour, although it's a bit hazy, it is stunning. Also, there are a huge amount of locals here. So this is a proper locals beach. I think the ball at the bottom of Bali will be one of the new tourist areas of the whole island. In fact, I would be quite close. I think I would actually recommend people, if they said, where would you stay in Bali? I would say Uluwatu. Monica, I know you're not mic'd up, but what would you say?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we both agree. Uluwatu, it's got lovely shops, places to eat, and it's so undeveloped, at least for now. It's an amazing place.
More developed than it used to be.
It is noticeably more developed. That's all brand new. Where Monica's pointing now, this is all brand new along here. So it is actually developing and building up pretty quickly. The place we're sitting now, all new. And I can see they've got half-finished developments behind. So the rate at which this bit on the south of Bali is building up is seriously quick. I just hope they keep this beautiful, open, free space somehow while they're doing the development, because it's a lovely spot. Right, I think there's half an hour's sun. Finally, after 5 hours riding, stopping, having coffees, crashing the bike, recovering from crashing the bike, I'm going in the sea. Very interesting to see how it's changed in the past 4 years since we were last here. Kingfisher. Wow. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a kingfisher. Incredible. Okay, so last time we were here, everything looked like this. Pretty much untouched forest right next to the beach. But in the past 4 years, they've done a lot of development. So this is all an indoor-outdoor club. That's where you can hear the music coming from. You've got a restaurant and other things like that. And then you've got another bar just to the right of it. Another bar to the right of that. And then a few little bars and things carrying on. And then right in the distance there is an imitation ship that I guess will be built and turned into a bar. So there's massive amounts of development. When you consider the last time we came, it felt quite like an untouched paradise because everything looked like lush forest, or was lush forest, just behind the beach. Oh, that's spectacular. Sun setting over the Indian Ocean. That really is stunning. We were right over there on the right-hand side, then we drove all the way along here and wound around, and it's really breathtaking. Interestingly, this part of Bali, they've definitely got big things planned for this, because this is beautifully landscaped all the way along, and look at the size and quality of these roads. I think Bali have got this pinpointed as the next massive touristy destination. And you can see why, probably so far from what we've seen. Tell me if I'm wrong, but the best beaches in Bali in this ball at the bottom. We still want to find some more beaches, to find, if we can, if it exists, at least in the southern bit of Bali, untouched paradise level beaches. I'm sure they must exist. So it's our hunt and our mission for the rest of our time in Bali to try and find that. But this is a pretty good point here. Okay, we checked. We've got 1 hour and 5 minutes to what we now know as our favourite pizzeria right in Canggu. So we're about to head off. It's about 6 o'clock. May miss the traffic now.
Whoa. Oh.
You know, they say never ever, never touch a Balinese dog. But that went absolutely crazy.
To finish today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was actually quite weird. I needed that. At the end of the day, good pizza. I was talking to Monica over dinner. I think I may be a terrible driver. I've had 5 crashes in the past 4 years. 3 Ocado van, 1 rental car in Vilnius last summer, and now this, the Scoopy. And I was trying to think, what is the common denominator? Every single time, it's not my vehicle. So I don't know if that says something about my personality. Possibly selfish, I don't know. Almost nothing went to plan today. I mean, obviously I crashed, and if I'm being completely honest, I found the beach perfectly nice. It is a nice beach, but it wasn't as both Monica and I remember it, with all of the development that's been built up. It's nice because it's got the bars, if that's your thing, but it has lost a little bit of that magical vibe. So it's not quite the magical level that we hoped in our memories from 4 years ago, but it's still a lovely place. Go and check out Uluwatu if you are interested, because that does feel like a very up-and-coming place. And just before I go, I meant to say this at the beginning of the video, I think, but I completely forgot. I've had a podcast, Freedom Machines podcast, for the past 3 years. It's always been on Spotify and all of the other podcasting platforms. But as of when you're watching this video, I'm moving it over to YouTube. So it'll be a YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/Freedom Machines. And that's where I chat exclusively about bikes, looking at different bikes, news, 100% biking, once a week, and it will be live as of now. So please do go and check it out. And of course, yeah, and ask questions. So I share your questions, share your thoughts. If you've got any input, do get involved. I like to pride it on being a very open house. So just get involved, share all of your thoughts. I'll include all of the details in the written description below for the podcast. But if you just type Freedom Machines, you will find it. Monica, how do you feel at the end of the day? Yeah, Monica's saying shattered. So do I. Right. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming along. We'll see you all on the next one.